your indulgence this morning, I have not slept since the senseless killing of this young man, Tyree Nichols, on the other week in Memphis. And so the Spirit has troubled me to put biblical word to this situation for the people of God. So I want to suspend my stained glass series for this morning to address this issue from the Word of God. Open your Bibles with me to Matthew chapter 13, verses 24 through verse number 30. And I want to talk to us from this subject. Something has gone wrong in the field. Something has gone wrong in the field. Commencing in verse 24, he put before them another parable. The kingdom of heaven may be compared to someone who sowed good seed in his field, but while everybody was asleep, an enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and then went away. So when the plants came up and bore grain, then the weeds appeared as well. And the slaves of the householder came and said to him, "Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? Where then did these weeds come from?" He answered, "An enemy has done this." The slave said to him, "Then do you want us to go and gather them?" But he replied, "No, for in gathering the weeds, you would uproot the wheat along with them. Let both of them grow together until the harvest. And at the harvest time, I will tell the reapers, collect the weeds first and bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn." Thank you. You may be seated. The grass withers and the flower fades, but the word of our God shall stand forever. Something has gone wrong in the field. 17 million viewers watched in stunned disbelief as A-list megastar Will Smith, who was himself fated with an Academy Award for Best Actor later in the show, walked on stage and committed the crime of battery when he slapped Chris Rock across the face. Violence perpetrated against a white person is assault. But when an African-American male is violent against another African-American male, it's just boys in the hood. Shame on us if we do not call what happened in the Dolby Theater a crime. You cannot cure a sickness if you keep misdiagnosing it. And condemnation without consequence is cowardice. Condemnation without consequence is cowardice. Hypotheticals, which is a discussion of what we want to know, and theoreticals, which is a discussion of what we think we know, would be a helpful exercise at this point to reach some conclusions. Hypothetically, had Jimmy Fallon made the same joke that Chris Rock made, theoretically, Will Smith would still be laughing. Hypothetically, had Will Smith had the temerity to slap Jimmy Fallon, theoretically, he would have been immediately handcuffed, arrested, and removed from the Dolby Theater. Somebody ought to help me preach it this morning. Hypothetically, had Will Smith slapped a woman, theoretically, the Me Too movement would have been outraged. Hypothetically, had Will Smith slapped a gay man, the LGBTQ community would be clutching their pearls. Hypothetically, had a white man named Jim Carrey slapped Chris Rock, theoretically, the black community would be marching in the streets. From the time Will Smith walked from his seat to the time he reached Chris Rock, there was enough time to think about what his actions meant. Not only to himself and to Chris, but to Hattie McDaniel, Sidney Poitier, James Earl Jones, Paul Winfield, Louis Gossett Jr., Denzel Washington, Whoopi Goldberg, Halle Berry, Cuba Gooding Jr., Morgan Freeman, and 11 other African-American Oscar winners. Tragically comedic, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock because he could. He never would have slapped Samuel Jackson. I wish I had time to stay right there. 20th century American poet Edna St. Vincent Millay. Edna St. Vincent Millay wrote, "It is not true that life is one thing after another. Life is the same thing over and over." And here we are again this morning with another young African-American male murdered in the streets, this time not by the hands of the white establishment, but by men with the same color skin who happened upon him like a pack of wolves, and with the sadistic savagery that is so shocking that even the most hardened among us were surprised, brutally beat him to death 100 yards from his own house. Hypothetically, if Tyree Nichols had been a woman, theoretically, the Me Too movement would be outraged. Hypothetically, if Tyree Nichols had been a gay man, the LGBTQ community would be up in arms. If the policeman, hypothetically, who murdered Tyree Nichols were white, the black community theoretically would be already setting Memphis on fire, burning down only black-owned businesses. Hypothetically, if Tyree Nichols was a white 29-year-old man, theoretically, the black policeman would have politely asked him for his license and registration, and they would have courteously sent him on his way. From the time these sociopathic killers walked from their patrol cars to Tyree Nichols' car, there was time enough to think about what their actions meant. not only to themselves and their families, or to Tyree Nichols and his family, but to the black former police chief of Houston, Lee Brown, or the current black police chief, Troy Finner, here in Houston, or what their actions meant to their own black police chief, Saralyn Davis of the Memphis Police Department, or the 26 other black police chiefs of the 50 largest police departments in the United States, or the countless millions of us who are in church this morning who just want innocent young black men to be policed like guilty young white men. Let me run that by you one more time. We want the police. We are not for defunding the police. But when I call the police, I don't want them to kill me. We are for the police policing our streets, but we want innocent young black men to be policed like guilty young white men. You don't have to take my word for that. You don't have to take my word for that. Dylan Roof killed 9 black people in the Mother Emanuel Methodist Church, and he was arrested without incident. And when asked if he was hungry, they went to Burger King and brought him something to eat. We want innocent black men to be policed like guilty white men. Kyle Rittenhouse, who was too young to even own a gun, went to a demonstration and with a semi-automatic rifle shot and killed 2 protesters, and when he went to trial, he was acquitted of the charges. We want innocent black men to be policed like guilty white men. Like Will Smith, these black policemen murdered Tyree Nichols because they could. Brothers and sisters, the origins of modern day policing, can be traced back to the slave patrols. The earliest formal slave patrol was created in the Carolinas in the early 1700s with one mission and one goal: to establish a system of terror and to quash slave uprisings with the capacity to pursue, apprehend, and return runaway slaves to their owners. That's where policing came from.
Good evening, everybody. This is Late Night Live, the DCN Smoke. I was coming on at 9, but I was tired. Been rolling all week, working and out here on the battlefield. So here I am. I'm gonna get started tonight. Want to talk about politics, local, state, and national. Gonna try to be brief. Gonna try to see can I get someone on. Go ahead and do that now. See can I get someone on to talk about what's going on in Rocky Mount, because everywhere I go, I was in Wilson today. Everywhere I go, people want to talk about Rocky Mount. Keep telling people all eyes are on Rocky Mount. Yes, there you have it. But I'm going to see, can I get someone on briefly to talk about what's going on in Rocky Mount? If not, I'll talk about what I talk about. You will listen to Reverend Terry K. Anderson, an old sermon, Something Has Gone Wrong in the Field. Talking about police brutality and how it originated and all that good stuff. But anyway, I want to start out talking about local politics. And if I could, let me see. Let me try something else. Hold on. Tonight is Saturday night, and it's late, and people doing their own thing, and I understand that. I do want to try to hello, sir. I don't have you on right now. I'm live. I want to know, could you come on for a few minutes and talk about what's going on in Rocky Mount, if you can. I don't have you live. I'm live. So I don't want to put you on the spot. So hey, you got a minute, or if not, we can do it another time, or.
No, I can talk for it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, let me good evening. I have Reverend Dr. Reuben Blackwell on the line. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How you doing?
All right. I appreciate you, man. All y'all do. We've been out there on the battlefield for a long time.
Yes,
And
sir.
so I ain't gonna do a whole lot of talking. I want you to kind of give us a little update, briefing, ever how you want to do it, about what's going on in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. All eyes on Rocky Mount, the best place in the these United States right now, and all eyes on Rocky Mount. And when things take place in Rocky Mount, they be a model. People can say what they want to, but people follow Rocky Mount. So have your way, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the impromptu opportunity.
All right. Sorry about that.
No, don't you apologize. That's how we roll. And everything I say, whether it's, I got a chance to think about it or just speaking from the heart, it's going to be.
Oh, you good at that.
And I'm always tell the truth from where I stand and where I sit. And I hope the truth is.
And that's why I would not call you off guard, because I know you're gonna do just that. Because you're one of the most powerful black men around this area.
Wow.
Everybody looks up to. They love some Reverend Andre Knight, but everybody say that Reuben Blackwell, and you are so articulate. But hey, you way, bro.
Well, I don't know. It looks like I stay in some people's head. When they say rent free, I'm in your head. I want to figure out how to start charging rent.
I know that's right.
I need to cash in on some of all of this talk they're doing.
I know that's right.
We can rehash details, but I think we've gone through that about how we got to where we are.
Oh yeah.
And what I'm gonna really say is how I really feel.
Right.
That a big reason why we are where we are today is because there's been such a pressure placed on elected officials that Andre and I have the privilege to serve with, to prove that they are not being bullied or led or told what to do by Andre Knight and Reuben Blackwell. When the bottom line is that Andre Knight, Reuben Blackwell, and I'll say Richard Joyner too, have never advocated for anything that enriched us personally. We've always worked for what we've heard the people say they need, and for what the data says needs to be addressed, and what common sense says needs to be done. If you use your eyes to see, and you use your ears to hear,
come on, preach
and
now.
you just look at what's happening and taking place in our city and what's taken place over the last 25 or 30 years, you're going to understand that Rocky Mount has gotten better. It's not gotten worse. And when Andre and Reuben were part of a thought majority that implemented policy and that created winning strategies for all of Rocky Mount, because I'm going to say to everybody, when we were part of a winning majority, we left hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank. We were able to build a movement and a momentum that created more black businesses per capita than any city in this state other than the city of Charlotte.
Come on now.
And we were able to build a multi-billion-dollar economy together from a town that got darker and not lighter as the entire U.S. economy grew, changed, shrunk, improved. Rocky Mount got stronger, not weaker. And it was only in the last 3 to 4 years that momentum was halted, derailed, and taken away from those things that built and grew inner city communities and downtown and strengthened all of Rocky Mount. The thing that I do not understand is why people will run with an agenda that's rooted in white supremacy.
Come on now.
And think that that agenda benefits you. You know, I look at this Donald Trump knockoff Rocky Mount Concerned Citizens blog or whatever you call that thing. And I look at fighting crime or whatever you call that, that always amplifies every negative opportunity that's found. They amplify it. They point it out. And I see so many people feeding into imaging and a narrative that really points back to themselves and their family.
All right.
You know, I mean, when you talk about these people who are doing things, you know, that shouldn't be done, for the most part, they're concentrating on crimes of poverty. Poverty is the root of every negative thing that happens in society. And you got a small percentage of people who are truly benefiting, making hundreds of millions of dollars off of the demise of everybody else. And it's just sort of interesting to see how they try to create this negative drama between folk who are all just trying to work hard and make life better for themselves. And that transcends race. You know, it's not just black people who working hard. It's not just white people who working hard. It's not just Latino, brown people or Asian people or First Peoples, Native Peoples who are working hard. Most people work hard. It's just the top 1% that you don't even see their names. you
That's
know,
right.
you don't
That's right.
understand how they're benefiting from all of this confusion that we're feeding into. But what is real clear to me is that 1% has operatives that are truly benefiting from our lack of knowledge, unwillingness to participate in processes and systems that were never designed for us to succeed in, but we found a way to make it work through participation. We don't value our physical lives. We don't value the places where we live, and we allow everybody to talk about us and to tear us down, and then blame the ones that are trying to bring value for all the ills of society. It's just amazing to me. And I sit in this Rocky Mount, North Carolina, a city that I've come to love and have chosen to live and raise a family, and my children grew up here. And we love our city, and I'm part of, you know, a group of tens of thousands of folk who love this city, you know, and I can't for the life of me understand how people can try to misinterpret sound fiscal policy. Now, over the years, you know, it's just been interesting how there have been a few people who consistently come to city council trying to brand everything that comes out of 1 or 2 miles, you know, Andre and myself, as if we are just trying to boss people around, because I heard that constantly with Keith Rogers, you know, when Andre was out on a regular basis, those things which made no sense. You know, you give 2 departments over 25% increase in benefits that employ a lot of people, and then for other departments that don't employ as many people and perhaps are not as visible, but still are very important in the makeup and the fabric of running a successful city. You don't value their lives as much as you value other people's lives. I've seen a continual erosion and a demonization of programs that bring benefit in housing and in downtown development and incenting entrepreneurs to choose to build up the inner city core of Rocky Mount. And I've seen them try to say, oh, you're wasting this and you're wasting that, and, you know, you're trying to pick and choose winners, and we don't think that these programs are really bringing value. But then, you know, in one fell swoop, you can go buy 300 acres for $17 million, you know, without any discussion about process. And to set the record straight, and I don't mind doing it publicly, Andre Knight, Reuben Blackwell, and Richard Joyner voted for that because we negotiated with the whole council that we needed to make downtown development a priority, and we needed to purchase property in downtown to move and advance forward our vision of how to build up the inner city core of Rocky Mount and specifically benefit Edgecombe County. What's wrong with that picture?
All right.
You know,
that's right.
What's wrong with that picture? And for all those people who want to point to the event center not being a success, well, where are you reading? What's your definition of success? How do you figure that the event center is not making money when it's the only department that anybody asks questions about in the city about how much money you're making from the city council ourselves, and they report every year that if they're not meeting budget, they're exceeding budget, bringing additional revenue directly into the city coffers. But what is never reconciled, celebrated, or heralded is how much money that these thousands of people that are coming into the city of Rocky Mount every single weekend, they're feeding the hotels, which are all in Nash County. They're feeding the restaurants, which 90% of them are in Nash County. In Nash Rocky Mount, most of them are in Nash Rocky Mount, and they're filling up beds from Wilson to Roanoke Rapids. You know, have you tried to get a hotel room in Rocky Mount? You know, hotel rooms in Rocky Mount cost the same as hotel rooms in Raleigh. And we're not, you know, a Class A city. But coming to Rocky Mount, you can hardly find a hotel room.
That's right.
It's available. And when you find one, you're paying good money for it. You're paying $150 or more unless you know, staying at, you know, at a hotel that caters in a little to a different type of mindset.
That's right. That's right.
You know, so I'm not knocking anybody what they do. I'm just stating facts and data. And so what I say to our citizens is that I just go back to the Staple Singers song, if you don't respect yourself, ain't nobody going to give a hoot to hoot. And so the confidence that I stand on, the confidence that you see Andre Knight standing on, the confidence that Richard Joyner has stood on has been that we've been right. We've been right not just for 1 or 2 times or 1 or 2 years. We've been right since 2003.
That's right.
You know, and everything, every move that we've made to benefit all citizens with a specific focus on uplifting those communities that have been intentionally overlooked. And you cannot tell me that poverty in our city has not been created intentionally. Somebody give me data. Somebody give me data. And then try to blame us for businesses not moving into Edgecombe County? Well, if that's the case, why weren't they there before we got on the city council?
That's right.
What happened then? What happened then? You know, I hear this foolishness, and it's nothing but, you know, people regurgitating what Rocky Mount Concerned Citizens is doing. And we know what the Rocky Mount Concerns, they weren't concerned about anything until we started talking about the event center. They weren't concerned about your utility bills. It was poor black folk in Rocky Mount who raised the roof in this city about the cost of utilities. And it was Andre Knight who fought for everybody in this city with Enkempa, North Carolina Eastern Municipal Power Agency, and Electric Cities, a collaborative, and took on Duke Power. They still haven't given that man credit for getting a $500 million debt forgiven and having lowered our cost of utilities by 15 to 20%, and being the only city in North Carolina that was affiliated with electricities. We are the only city that had a debt set-off program, but we had a rate stabilization program that subsidized the cost of operations of utilities for everybody in the city, with the emphasis on poor people in poor communities in Rocky. Now, nobody's come down to say thank you, Andre Knight, for that. Thank you, Angela Bryan, for that. Thank you, Reuben, for supporting that. Thank you, all of the city council, for feeding into that and supporting that. But guess what? 2 to 3 years of poor management has eliminated that. And now when we say now we have to pay for the actual cost of operations, people ready to burn the house down because they think somebody stole, one of us stole their money. And then they want to point back to a bogus claim about some $47,000 bill that don't even make no sense. Don't even make no sense. Your common sense should tell you, just like Andre said, what black man cannot pay a utility bill and not be in jail or have the lights cut off everywhere? Tell me, where does that exist in America? Where does that exist? And how does one person who is so vilified and told that he's a villain and horrible and everything else, how do you think he can even get away with not paying utilities? You know, it boggles the mind. It boggles my mind. And you're just so quick to believe something about other people, but if somebody says something about you or your brother, your sister, your daughter, you're ready to fight and come on social media and cuss people out. So I'm like, let's get real and let's tell the truth.
I know that's right.
And so, you know, where I stand today, now that's the past, and that's behind, and I'm not.
But people need to know the history though, because you know, and I've been there. I used to get off work, go to the Kemper meetings with Andre and all that. So I mean, hey, I know it's factual, and that's why I come and tell people. That's why I can talk about this stuff, because I've been at the table. Where were you? But you got all the answers, and that's what pissed me the hell off, especially our folk. Like you say, Rocky Mount concerned citizens. And see, what I got a problem with is our folk that's friends with these folk, and they let them say stuff and not correct them. And so when you have Camilla's Butch dancing over there by myself, responding to them, and I be laughing and they be mad because I be talking with truth, and I be laughing because they can't come back. And I'm trying to shut them down, and they shut me down by blocking me. But that's okay, because I got 9 or 10 pages. That's okay, but the problem I got is those Negroes that allow them to run down our black leaders and not say anything. I just don't understand.
Well, I understand, and let me explain why I say that. I understand that most people are comfortable with the concept of being proud of whoever God made you to be. Because we have been in this country in particular, but it's around the world. It's not just in America. It started, 500 years ago, a little bit less than, with Europe being broke, and after they cannibalized each other and spent all their internal wealth, they had to find some other places to find wealth to keep their dynasties in place. And that's where, their colonization of every other continent on the globe occurred, to look for spices, to look for gold, to look for land that could bring benefit back to Portugal, back to Spain, back to France, back to Germany, back to England. And see, you can't act like this stuff didn't happen. It did happen. They went and they stole from people. They killed people. They carted people away from where they lived and brought them here to build a place because it was lawless. There were no laws. There were no immigration laws in this North American continent and no other continent.
Right. They wouldn't
anywhere.
be here.
No, I'm just saying. So all of these things are contrived to build wealth and create wealth for a small percentage of the population. And the people who came here were agents of European governments. And we know the story. They got enough wealth amassed themselves here, but they said, well, we don't need you anymore. So they separated themselves from those countries built their own internal system, but it was a system still built on the subjugation of people based on skin color so that they could retain their wealth. And that was the whole thing. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
So, nobody's saying that other people weren't enslaved in any other dynasty, because slavery, did happen, but there was never a brutal system of slavery like this one that was based on race and skin color ever introduced in all of the entire globe that we call Earth, the planet that we call Earth. And so today, 400 years later, 400 years plus later, we're still dealing with that impact. But what people need to see is that, right now, the cost of living doesn't just hit Black people. It doesn't just hit Native people. It doesn't just hit Latino people. It hits all people. Your economy is crap.
That's right.
All of our economy is struggling. People are struggling everywhere. The grocery bill, I don't care if you shop at Aldi or Walmart, you can't fill up your cart with groceries and pay $100.
That's right.
You can't do it. You fill up your grocery cart, you looking at $200-$300. That's what you're looking at. And now there's an administration that is blaming the minority party, much like in Rocky Mount, for things that the majority is doing, shutting down the government because they say the Democrats won't sign on. Well, you got the power to do everything else. Why don't you have the power to pass a budget? And now what we're hearing is that in November, if the shutdown still occurs, people will not be receiving SNAP benefits. So that says that in November, with Thanksgiving coming out, if you're poor and you need help to eat, you can forget Thanksgiving. Why is that taking place? Why is that even an option? I heard something else. I have to fact check, so I can't say it's. I got to fact check it, so I'm asking, the one who loves to tell the truth.
All right, then.
Let's read. I saw something on social media, and I don't know if it's true, that says that active military troops won't get paychecks either, but they've been approached. They're saying in November that they won't get paid either, but they're being approached by loan companies saying, hey, if you're active duty military, we'll give you a loan and charge 18% interest. And what I've heard, and again, I have to fact check it, I don't know if it's true or not, I'm asking whoever your listening base is to verify is this true, that one of our president's sons is an owner or principal in that company. So why are you trying to benefit off of somebody's misery if you and your family are leading the country for everyone's best interest? How do you make money when everybody else is losing money?
Yeah, I heard something like that too. I hadn't had a chance to, like you said, fact check it, but I heard some people talking about it. And I think it might have been in our group, in our civic group. But, but I got to fact check it.
But I'm just saying, I'm not indicting anyone. I'm asking the question, well, how is that okay? And then, let's bring it right back to Rocky Mountain, because, that's where we live. I read this online chatter where I can stomach. I really don't dwell on it. I just, I try to concentrate on what the task is at hand, where the gaps are that need to be addressed. And
well, you shouldn't have to.
Use.
That's where myself and others need to be focusing, counteracting that. Y'all got more of a bigger picture to concentrate on.
And how do you get mad? Because all I see is opening up medical centers in places that nobody else wanted to work. How do you get mad at people trying to be healthy? How do you get mad at us working to employ young people and help them understand that the way to make money is to work and not do things that bring harm to yourselves and to your community and the people that you live with and the people that you love? How do you not want to support things that build up things that are torn down. How do you demonize that and make it all about two people? You know, the board chair of an organization and the CEO of an organization that is a servant organization that employs people and that makes people, helps people get their health back and stay healthy. The organization that works with the hospital, the organization that works with the health departments, the organization that collaborates with the medical infrastructure throughout this entire region, the organization that creates job training, workforce development programs for small and large businesses, the organization that helps to promote, quality of life for everybody.
Everybody. And I always say it, Rocky Mount, OIC is Rocky Mount. And what they don't understand, too, is, because I'm all over the place, OIC is not just housed in Rocky Mount. You all have offices out towards the coast and everywhere. It's not just a Rocky Mount thing,
No, it's not. We work with families where they have people returning from prison and from, we call them reentry programs. But, you know what that is. That's people who have, been arrested and convicted for crimes. And when they paid their crimes, they come back. And instead of us talking about them or demonizing them, we try to find ways to help them get on their feet, help them make better choices, help them find ways and opportunities to become contributing, productive members of society. And they're not all black.
Absolutely.
So let's get that out of our heads.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They're people of every nationality. We got a president that's a convicted felon. Y'all want to talk about that? He got a job.
That's right.
He got a job.
That's right.
He got a job. I'm just saying he is the prototype of reentry. And his administration is working with us. Y'all don't want to hear that part, do you?
Wow.
Because there is a need for workforce. Why is there a need for workforce? Because some of the workforce that many low-paying jobs depend upon, those people are being carted out of this country. And I just say that to everybody, and challenge me if I'm wrong, but gone is the day when black people are going to be okay picking cotton and pulling sweet potatoes. Unless they and their farms have been stolen, so they can't say they are doing it for themselves.
Well, even white farmers are losing their farm now. So.
Well, and my understanding is that the vice president is part of a company that's buying out bankrupt farms all across the country.
I think I saw something on that this evening.
And so I'm just saying, it's you want to concentrate on quote unquote black on black crime. I'd be concentrating on white crime.
All right,
because none of this stuff, I'm just saying, because that's the crime that hurts everybody. The billionaire crimes hurt everybody, and it's not an ethnic crime issue. It's an issue of where our priorities are. If we just treat people right, I'm for treating people right. I'm for treating people as if we're all human beings, and putting emphasis on people who've been overlooked and hurt the most to help restore their dignity and help give them opportunity to work and build something that's solid, something that's contributing, something that's beneficial for themselves, their families, and for help for everyone. What's wrong with that? Can somebody tell me, where am I wrong? Where am I wrong?
And see, like when Reverend Terry K. Anderson preached about, you can, say for instance, if you give, give your children stuff, and they don't appreciate it. You give them a car, they don't even get the car inspected. They don't change the tires. Look at the neighborhoods. You won't even pay taxes on your family members that gone on. In other words, what he's saying is, what you all do provide a service to make people. You got to have people to help themselves, because if you keep just giving, they don't appreciate it. So what you all are doing is giving them the opportunity to provide for themselves, and that way they appreciate stuff. But see, they say they want you to, but then they really don't. Because if you all are providing that service to put people on their feet, and then you got a problem with that. I mean, who else is gonna do it? OIC is Rocky Mount, and they get mad at me every time I say that, but they can get mad, you know. But it's the truth.
Yeah, and all I say, you know, and you know, but you're about the only person who I'll come on the show and say things the way I say it here, because number one, you give me an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I know you're sincere, and I can speak the truth without somebody thinking I'm lying, because right now people are choosing lies over truth.
Come on now.
And they're glorifying gossip, they're glorifying innuendo, and they're glorifying the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, why am I surprised? Because these same people are supporting folk who are creating policy that hurts them.
Right.
You know, they support people that are not their friends either, but
right.
they think they have something in common with them, and think that having that proximity to their wealth and their power is somehow going to float into their pocketbook, but they ain't giving you no money.
Right.
Tell the truth about it. You don't get no more money. You don't have no benefit that come to you. Cash wise, you might get more consideration for getting a bank loan, but it's still a loan. They ain't giving you no. It's still a loan, buddy.
Right.
You might get it faster than me, but you still got to pay it back.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody's giving money away without somebody putting something to it and making something from it.
That's right.
So that's all I got to say. You know, but where I feel the future is good. Now, let me say this.
Mm-hmm.
I am not happy, not pleased, and my heart is broken for the people that have been impacted by poor management and leadership at the staff level and at the council level.
That's right.
Who've lost their jobs and their livelihood for the city. But we have worked collaboratively. When I say we, the entire city council has worked collaboratively and are still doing so to figure out how to reduce our costs and how to bring in more revenue. And we're working on a plan. We shared everything we had that we could share about the plan. We've told everybody what needed to be done. We've shown everybody through education sessions, through website that gives you the raw data and the documentation. And we've shown you what took place, and we've shown you what we have to do to get to where we're going. And yes, 100 people have lost their jobs. And I'm sorry about that.
But it could have been worse.
But I'm going to say this. And 900 people kept their jobs.
Right.
You know, or 800 people were able to keep their jobs. So the benefit, the sacrifice has a point in mind. And then I'm going to also say this too, Camillus, and this is just Reuben talking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not speaking for the whole. I can't speak for the whole. It's just my perspective that we have a plan to get us back to where we have been. And what we do feel, and I think that every council member and the mayor would say, we have full plan to get back to where we were. So even if a person has lost something, has been damaged in this process, we're going to do all we can to support you with whatever resource we have that was within our ability and what we can afford to do to support you. And what we're hoping is that we'll be able to open the doors again to hire once we get stable. But we got to get stable.
Right.
We got to get stable.
And that's on any job. I mean, where I work, anywhere. You have to downsize sometime to get back to where you need to be, and then you can bring people back. But people don't understand that process.
And how can you holler about the 100 jobs in Rocky Mount and not holler about the 750,000 jobs at the federal government? We had the money to pay them, but you got somebody who just won't do it because they want to force somebody else to agree to it. They got the money And the need is there. The program outline footprint is there, but you don't want to do it because you want people to hurt.
Mm.
And these are same folk that want to stand up at National Day of Prayer.
Come on, man. They get mad y'all don't come. No, I ain't
I'm
coming.
gonna pray with you. I can't pray with you.
Right.
Don't ask me to stand up and pray with you when I don't know who you're praying to. Number one, I don't know what kind of God leads you to hurt people and say that's a good thing. That is not a good thing. You're more concerned about who uses a bathroom than you are about a child able to eat. You're more concerned about who can run on a track and catch a ball or hit a ball than you worried about what's between somebody's leg and who's trying to mess with them. Then you are about pedophilia. Let me say that.
Come on, now.
You ain't too worried about pedophiles and people predating on your children and other people's children. Maybe I'm talking way too much now, but all I can say, I'm just saying,
right.
I'm just saying, we get hung up on things that are not important, and you're missing what's really important.
Absolutely.
And what I'm going to say is that Rocky Mount is a powerful place.
Absolutely.
And it's a powerful place because we're a place of opportunity. We are a place of inclusion. We are better because we are diverse. We are better because we know what it takes to work your way through situations. And we know that it takes people working together to make something happen good. It's not Democrat or Republican. It's all about how we come together to the benefit of the people that live here. And all I can deal with is the issue of policy and the issue of prudent fiscal management. And what I do know is that I have always been, and I can speak for Andre Knight, because we have always tried to stand together in policy, because what benefits one benefits all. And if we stand on policy together, then we win together. Policy creates programs, and programs need funding. And if you do it the right way, when an investment will create a return if it's invested in the right place. The right soil, the right idea, the right people will produce an evidence of return. And that's what we see. With the event center, let's talk about the event center. They win awards all over the country.
All over the country.
People are beating the doors down to come to Rocky Mount. Where is the failure? Will somebody please tell me where the failure is?
The failure is because it is a black majority council. That's the only failure for them, but that's not a failure because I keep saying all the time, when black folks do better or gain, everybody benefits. You just said that. Everybody benefits.
Everybody benefits. I'm just saying our economy has not shrunken. It's grown. People are not backing away from Rocky Mount. They're coming to Rocky Mount. And people are investing in places that haven't seen investment historically before. And so this whole narrative about things are so bad here, that's not true. We had a bad run for a period of time, but the full council, no matter, I know some of us saw it early, but others came along. Let me say that's the redemption.
That's right.
Others came along.
Past that now.
And everybody came along and said, hey, wait, let's do something about it. And we did. And now what the challenge is, and our challenge is not just the city council's challenge, it's our city's challenge.
That's
it's
right.
our region's challenge. Don't have us fighting against each other.
Right.
The pressure for us to work together and create solutions that work in the inner city, that work in upscale communities, and work in every community in between. We should be able to do that. We should be able to do something that brings benefit to everybody, because everybody's paying into the system. Why can't everybody get something back?
That's right.
I was looking at an email, another blog or whatever, and subscribe. I don't know why I do, but I subscribe to this email.
So we can know what's going on. That's why we.
Yeah, and somebody said the city of Rocky Mount has made me homeless. And I said, what? I said, what do we do? And they said they cut off my lights, and now me and my animal don't have any lights, and we're gonna have to move. I said, they just cut the lights out. No, you didn't say I didn't pay my bill for 3 months. The lights are off because the bill won't pay.
Wow.
And what I do know in the city of Rocky Mount with utilities that you don't get with Duke Power, I know this, that you don't get with Edgecote Martin. You can negotiate payments with the city of Rocky Mount. I know for a fact. We got a collections department that work with you on your budget, and they'll do everything they can to help you meet the budget. They don't just say you must pay this, and if you don't pay it, your lights are off tomorrow. If you work with them, and if you are willing to pay, they'll work with you. So that tells me that somebody just wants you to do right. Now I can't do nothing to help folk like that.
That's right.
Because I got to pay my bill. You got to pay your bill.
And that's the thing. They're like, you all, the councilmen don't live here. I mean, they're like, y'all getting something special treatment or something.
No,
I mean, y'all live in the same neighborhoods. I mean,
we live in the same neighborhoods.
I don't understand.
We got to pay our bills like you pay yours.
And when people ain't happy around you, you ain't happy. How can you be happy when your neighbor ain't happy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If they don't pick my trash up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they pick up my trash the same time they pick up everybody else's trash on the street. They don't come to my house. I'm not getting no private service. Trust me, whatever I receive, anybody else can get.
That's right.
So all I'm saying to you, I hope I'm not being aggressive, but I do have a point of view, and I'm not afraid to express my point of view.
That's right.
What I see so much of is people want to say anything they want to say, but when we start talking, they act like we don't have no rights. Well, the devil is a lie, and you ain't gonna shut me up. Try it.
Because I'll be like Eric May. Y'all been good. Y'all have been taking some stuff, and I get mad with y'all. I told Andre, I said, man, what you need to do one of them times is you know how you shout. I said, you need to get up, just run around the daggone council chamber and make them think you're crazy. So, boy, you stupid. I said, you got the cuss. I said, you got the cuss one time. I said, because they don't get it. I don't understand why they think they can come up there and just disrespect y'all, and then you ain't supposed to say nothing. I'm like, I can't. Y'all must be glad they ain't up there because y'all put me out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They root in the history, but they think it's still the present. This is not 1930, 1940, 1950, and I don't care what kind of rule, law you unravel or you pass. People ain't gonna do what they used to do.
That's right.
I'm not, and nobody else is. So this thing has, we gotta just come and be reasonable now. And if you want to work and be reasonable, hey, let's work together and make something great happen. And don't expect me. I'm gonna say this too. I'm gonna say it really clear. I work with everybody. I always have. That's how I was raised. I come from a family. We work with everybody. And I am not ashamed of who I am.
That's right.
I'm thankful for who I am. I love my skin color. I love my family. I love my race. God made me this way. Why wouldn't I love it? I expect you to love yours.
That's right.
God made you that way. You didn't choose who you were. No, I don't have a problem with that. But don't think that one is better than the other, because it's not. I'm going to always stand flat-footed with that. I'm as good as anybody else, and anybody as good as me. But don't think I'm going to take down so you can be comfortable. I'm going to sacrifice so you can have more. That ain't going to happen.
I know that's right.
And neither would I expect for my comfort to be subsidized by somebody else's discomfort. I would never do that. So let's just get real with this thing.
And my thing is, I just want people to let this all play out. Wait for the full report that we always ask for that we didn't get, but we're going to get it now. I don't know what's going to be in the report, but we're going to get the full report now. So let it play out. Stop having your opinions based on your emotions and not on the facts, because you're not based on the facts, because you all giving them the facts and they still taking and twisted. Just shut up and be quiet.
But your twisting ain't gonna change what happens.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's not gonna change what happens.
Because that ain't gonna be in the full report. I've
seen on social media, and the people have been contacting me. Well, hey, they're thinking about sending Rocky Mount back to all at-large seats just to get rid of Reuben and Andre. I said, well, you know, why would that be a surprise?
Right.
When the Supreme Court is talking about doing away with the Voting Rights Act.
Right.
The same people having that conversation in Rocky Mount support that policy nationally. So that's not about Reuben, Blackwell, and Andre Knight. What it says is that people are intimidated by the fact that in Rocky Mount, people have the ability to elect whoever they want to elect, not who you want them to elect.
That's right.
See, that's what the problem is right there. And if you go to at-large, Rocky Mount looks a whole lot different than
what it used to, right. It might be worse. It might make it worse when it comes to them getting people elected. So you might not want that.
I'm just saying, be careful what you ask for.
That's right.
You know? And I don't know about nobody else on the council, but, you know, I don't have people throwing eggs at me wherever I go. People are coming up saying thank you, saying for what you do. I support what you do. I support what what you all are doing. We don't. People ask for understanding, and I try to explain what's happening. But then I also try to leave them with hope, and the hope that I leave them with is that all 8 of us are working together with the city manager and his team to create a plan to restore what we've lost and to get better where we were challenged before.
That's right. I see Ray Dawkins asked a question, is the convention, I guess, making money or not? Evidently, he came on afterwards, but again, that shouldn't even be a question.
It's what happened.
I guess he's saying I guess he's talking about the convention center. Is it making money or not? But that should not even be a question. Because if it was not, that would be in the front of the newspaper every day. So it's making money, you know.
Well, what I'm going to say is, first of all, we took our time. Let's go back to the process. I mean, that's a fair question. I don't mind answering that question. We, the city council, and that we was Andre Knight, and I'm going by Ward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The mayor was David Combs. Andre Knight was the councilman for Ward 1, Reuben Blackwell, Ward 2, Lamont Wiggins, Ward 3, Angela Bryant, and then Lois Watkins, Ward 4. We took at least 7 to 8 years of traveling around the entire state of North Carolina, looking at every city that was a major city or a medium-sized city that had a convention center and how they crafted the concept, where it was located, what they offered, and how they managed it. And what we discovered is that most convention centers are lost leaders. A lost leader is sort of like in a grocery store. They'll put certain items in prominent places, and they mark that price down just to get you to come on that aisle. You might buy a potato chip that might be, they might lose money on the bag of potato chips, but the potato chips are sitting beside the cookies, which might be marked up. So if you get a chip, then maybe you'll get 2 bags of cookies, And so they figure how to get you into the mode of selling. Well, what we decided we wanted to do in Rocky Mount was we didn't want our convention center to be a convention center, because most convention centers were not focused on market economies. And so what we did, we took a hybrid approach, and we hired some of the best data analysts in convention centers in the country. And we determined that we wanted to have a youth sports focus that had flexibility to do concerts, flexibility to host conventions, flexibility to host family reunions, and support our nonprofit communities within our area. We wanted a combo center. And we also felt that we didn't want the convention center or the event center to be managed by Parks and Recreation. They're very good. We have an exceptional Parks and Recreation team, but they're government focused. We needed a business focus. So we hired a third-party vendor who knew the business of how to make these facilities profitable. But we also said when we designed the concept of the event center that the real return on our dollar was not if it was a balanced budget. It was if it recruited enough people to come to Rocky Mount that would not come here otherwise, and help the private investors, the hotels, the restaurants, and all the shops in all the cities where they could benefit and make money. And it's interesting to me, I see stuff on, random Facebook posts that say, I saw somebody who lived in my ward that said, Rocky Mount is always trying to do things themselves instead of incenting the private sector. Well, number one, you don't know what you're talking about because it's SFM is a private company. It is private sector. It's not the city of Rocky Mount. It is a private company that's running it, just like in Durham, what's that facility called that does the plays?
Oh, you're talking about.
I can't think of it, but that's where we got the concept that you get people who have a national footprint in that particular arena, and then let them run the business, and you support the business. So, number one, you don't know what you're talking about. Number two, the real financial benefit goes to the hotel owners. Rocky not going to own the hotels.
That's right.
And
they own that side.
Right. And they all on the Nash side. Mm-hmm. And we had to fight with Nash County to get money to put back into the event center. Mm-hmm. That's on the Edgecombe side. And because it's on the Edgecombe side, they don't want to pay for the physical capital of improving the building. They'll pay for a program, but they don't want to buy a better air conditioning system. They don't want to put infrastructure in to have a better sound system so you can do more. They don't want to add on anything that's a footprint that increases the footprint of value in Edgecombe County. Well, that's your myopia, not my problem. Mm-hmm. Not my problem. So we are Rocky Mount, and we straddle Edgecombe and Nash. Our responsibility is to build up both economies. And I see people on the east side of the north side of Edgecombe County that don't want to see Rocky Mount succeed. Well, that's dumb, because your economy is based on our strength. And I don't care how great Tarboro is. Most of what Tarboro gets comes from Rocky Mount.
Exactly.
Right. We fuel the predominant majority of taxes in all of Edgecombe County and in all of Nash County. I'm not saying there are other places that are not as important, but this is the power of diversity and inclusion. It takes all of us working together to bring benefit to all of us. And it should not be okay for some people to benefit and other people to lose. And more people are losing that are winning. That should not be okay, and nobody should be comfortable with that. If you're rich, you should not be comfortable with poverty everywhere around you, because that puts your riches at risk. Because at some point, the people going to turn. Marie Antoinette and her husband lost their heads because they would not take care of the people. Every dynasty that established value, predominant value around the very top, ends up being overthrown and toppled. Every dynasty in history, in every country, in every continent on this globe. We don't want to fall victim to that. That's all I got to say. And in Rocky Mount, we're trying to make sure that we have a place for everybody in every space. at every opportunity.
And see, the thing about that is, if they will attend their meetings, the committee of the whole meetings, all that you're saying, I've been at the meetings, I've been in the room when you brought people in. The work is done in the committee of the whole meeting. They come in, do the presentations about the event center or whatever else y'all bring into town. It's done in the committee of the whole meeting. So go to the meetings and learn. Again, Ray Dalton said, here's a sore spot for Nash side of town. Well, you know, my thing is, who you listening to? If you go to the meetings, right, go to the meetings.
Explain that to me.
You know,
sore spot for the Nash side
right.
of town. Explain
And
that. Can you ask him to explain what he means by that? 'Cause I'm not sure what.
Yeah, Ray, you put in the chat what you mean by a sore spot. Because the thing is, go ahead.
Can I say this? Can I say this, Camilla?
Go ahead.
Because I represent, my ward represents Rocky Mount Mills. My ward
on that
represents on the Nash side. My ward represents the mall area. My ward represents parts of Sunset Avenue, close to Sam's Club. My area represents Pfizer and that side of 301 on the right-hand side headed towards Battleboro. And my ward represents where all the hotels are. So all the hotels are in my ward. I don't have a sore spot about those areas being successful. If I am successful in my representation, then they are successful in their business. And my ward also includes Happy Hill, which I don't hear any of these people hollering about, except that one lady who shows up every time elections come and try to blame me and Andre for underdevelopment in our communities when our development plans are derailed. They were derailed by Keith Rogers and his administration. My ward includes Edgemont, where I physically have lived for 32 years, moving into 33 years this year. My ward includes all of downtown, both Nash and Edgecombe. So there is no sore spot for me about growth anywhere. My sore spot, Ray, is when it's okay for you to feel comfortable that hotels can grow, but Happy Hill can't be developed. It's not okay for Holly Street to have embedded lack of housing investment so that people who live there all their lives can't get loans to fix up their houses. And the policing isn't taking place in their neighborhood the same way it is in other parts of town. And they have open crime that's tolerated.
That's right.
In their neighborhoods.
That you don't hear about.
Would never be tolerated in other places. And I question, my sore spot is when people like you don't question why isn't everybody concerned about uplifting every part of Rocky Mount. I don't have a sore spot about certain areas of town. And I want to be clear. My footprint of development in Rocky Mount through my business, through the business that I'm hired by, it's not mine. I don't own it. The board of directors manages, they hire me as their professional staff, and then I hire a team of professionals to build up our business. But we have properties from Candlewood to Hunter Hill to the inner city, almost every inner city community in Rocky Mount. We're in every place in this city. So I want every place in this city to be successful. If I were being selfish, I want every place in this city to be successful. But I'm not selfish. I want every place in this city to be successful because every human being in this city deserves to be given the best opportunity to take care of themselves and their families the same way that we have them in our households.
All right, and that's a good note to end on. I done got you on. Call you at the last minute, caught you off guard, but you're never off guard.
That's all right.
Because you can do that.
Thank you,
yeah, you're never off guard. But I do want to apologize, call you this late at night.
No problem.
Just glad you picked up. And we didn't cover from a perspective of just talking about the issue with Rocky Mount. We passed that. We ain't past that. But we just got to wait on the full report and stop talking about it.
We're still discovering it. And can I just say one last thing, and then I'll be done. We're still discovering. We came to people early. We wanted to come early, tell the truth early. We didn't want the auditor or the LGC to come in here and discover something. We went to them because we said it's our responsibility to handle our business. And then we didn't just run to the LGC or the state auditor. We called both of them. They didn't call us. We called them. I want to be real clear about that. We called them. And we called them with our best analysis. We called them with a plan. And we called them with open arms to come in and help us evaluate and help us create a pathway to stability and wholeness. And so what the entire city council is committed to do is to make sure that we are understanding exactly how deep this hole is, how to stop the bleeding, and how to build a pathway back to where we were before, but this time in a more sustainable way so that we can get better for the next 50 years. So let's go. I hope, and you don't have to agree with me, but you can agree to work with all of us to make it better for everybody. Let's go.
All right, man. I appreciate you, all you do, and I look forward to the next meeting where we can get information versus listening to Rocky Mount Concerned Citizens and all them other folk. I want the facts, and I get the facts at the meeting, at the city council meeting, and people need to try that. Try going to the meetings. Stop
come
looking
on,
at,
come on.
come on out. Stop looking at Rocky Mount Concerned Citizens and all them folk giving you false information. It's facts. I mean, they present it in the meetings. It's some of this stuff. I've heard it. I was there. I didn't have to wait for y'all to come out with a report because I was in the committee of the whole meetings when the city manager presented to y'all, and then once you got enough information where y'all could take back to the constituents. So, go to the meetings. And start getting on social media. It ain't done on social media. The work is done in the council chambers.
Yeah, well, somebody asked the question, well, who benefits from, Rocky Mount Concerned Citizens? Who benefits from fighting crime? Who cares? I don't care. I don't get paid for the clicks and the likes, but somebody is.
Right. So they get paid. They don't care.
But I'm not mad about them. WRL get paid, and all that. They do what they do. TVD gets paid. They do what they do, but they don't care about what happens to you.
Right.
That's all I'm gonna say. They'll say whatever they need to say to keep you watching. The difference is that you got 8 people whose livelihoods are tied into our own decisions too, and we represent with conscience the people that we serve that voted for us, and those who didn't even vote.
That's right.
We still gonna work for you.
That's right. Well, man, have a good night, man. You have a good night. I'm gonna talk a little bit more, but appreciate you, man.
All right. Likewise, my friend.
All right.
Have a good one.
All right, you too. You all, that was Councilman Reuben Blackwell. I think we had a great discussion. I caught him off guard at the last hour. I was planning on coming on at 9 o'clock, and I've been tired. I've been rolling all this week. I've been rolling and working, and in Plymouth 2 nights this week. going to work at night after I come back, and football game last night, and then get up and go, and then went to work, and been in Wilson today recording. So hey, I've been rolling. And so when 9 o'clock came around, I was in and out of it. And I said, I ain't going to do this. I said, but I got to do it. So here we are. Now I want to move on to more local politics. Now on Tuesday, I believe it is, at True Tabernacle, there will be a debate between Carl Revers and Charles Robinson, the runoff election for Ward 3 in Rocky Mount, the seat that Reverend Richard Joyner chose not to seek re-election. So come out to True Tabernacle on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock and see those candidates in action. Let me see. You got other municipal elections going on throughout the county, throughout the state, but I'm talking about Edgecombe County. You got Pine Tops, Canita, Princeville, Tarboro. Those elections will be held on November the 4th, and Rocky Mount is held in October. So if there's a runoff, they get to have the runoff on November the 4th with the other cities. I'm quite sure you all seen in the news yesterday where a Tarboro Councilman, candidate for Tarboro Council was in the news. And I was waiting because he said he was going to come back today and give some information on what's going on with him. And I am disappointed because I have not seen anything. But let me check again right quick and see on his page if he has reported anything. Let me see right quick, y'all. I wanna see. And by the way, while I'm looking that up, Fighting Crime posted the report on the people that was laid off for the city, and it looks like they went through different positions. Maybe like in media, you had 4 or 5 different media positions, and they eliminated one. Other departments, if they had more than one, say assistant to the main person, they may got rid of the assistant or whatever. So I think they went through and did a very strategic thing as far as it came to the layout. But you can see the list, and I'm gonna post. I think I might already post it, but you can see the list, and you can see the list, and you can see the positions and all that. But get back to Ryan Jones, Sr., Tarboro, a candidate, was arrested yesterday on some fraud charges, I believe it is, and he's a candidate for Tarboro City Council. I was hoping he was going to come back today. He said he was going to come back and address the criminal slander and providing context. The reality will become clear. Please be prepared and to clarify, my new love has faith in me, and it surpasses marriage. Stay tuned. Also, when you hear, you'll know it. I live on my own peaceful terms. The marriage part came. Someone sent me something where he just went through a divorce, and his wife said on her page, ex-wife said on her page, that divorce looks good on her, and I think that comment was in response to that. But my friend, you can't do that. You said on your own peaceful terms. No, sir. I have talked to you time and time again over the years. I backed away a couple of months ago because we didn't see eye to eye, and I'm not going to get into that tonight. But, bro, when you're out here representing other folk, you can't live on your own peaceful terms. You are representing other folk. And people know I don't play when it comes to people serving in elected capacity, trying to make decisions on other folks' livelihood. You can't do that. It's all about accountability. And I'm not going to get into it tonight, but I'm really I'm really pissed because I talk to folk. I go to folk like I did. I went to Shelley Willingham, House Representative. I went on to Don Davis, Congressman. I've gone to Bronson Williams. I've gone to folk and let them know where I stand. So don't get it twisted. I go to folk. I let folk know what people are saying and stuff. Cause I don't care whether you get mad with me or not. Cause at the end of the day, I'm gonna win. Cause I'm on the side of right. And we can agree to disagree. Roosevelt Hughes have cussed me out and done all kinds of stuff. And I had that brother down here working in my yard, cutting down trees and getting up my straw and all that kind of stuff. Because I have no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. And see, when we can disagree on some things and move on. But when we get back to that again, then we might disagree again. But I'm going to move on. I'm not going to hold it. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm going to win. But I really want to say to Ryan friends, you all need to talk to the brother. Sit down and have a talk to him. Talk with him. I tried. Not working. I do have documents with our conversation, so I can fact check whatever I say. I'm not going to get into it, but I just say that the brother needs somebody to talk to. Y'all need to sit down and talk with him. When you're on Facebook, you're doing all these likes and loves, I could post some stuff or tear your damn head upside down, but I ain't going to do that. I tell people all the time, you better hold folk accountable, and you better hold me accountable. But y'all keep on getting up here liking and loving and stuff, and don't know the whole story behind what's going on with folk. Not only him, but anybody else. So y'all better do your research, because at the end of the day, things may not be as seen. So I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm hoping he's gonna come back. Well, he said he got 2 court dates on Monday, so I really don't need to be saying anything. But I'm gonna tell you something. Hey, I'm a black man. He's a black man. We need to come together. Like I said, I talk to my folk. I don't care how people. I don't have no control over how people receive it, but they can't say that I didn't come to them at the end of the day, and I have it documented. That goes for anybody else that I have had conversation with. I got something documented to show you where I stood with them and how I tried to understand how they need to move forward. And I'm going to talk about it later, where I stood on this situation. But anyway, I'll move on to the next thing. Again, y'all come out on Tuesday night, Rocky Mount folk, Ward 3. With all this going on, come out to the debate. I don't like to call it a debate, but actually it's going to be a debate, basically because it's only 2 candidates that's in the runoff election. And somebody asked a question, could there be a write-in? No, you can't be a write-in. It's down to, that's why it's a runoff, because it's down to those 2 folk. So know what you're talking about when you're talking about stuff like that, especially when you're in a position that you should know these things. But this black culture, Reuben talked about it. Councilman Reuben Blackwell talked about it tonight. He gave us some history. We got to change this black culture. We ain't the same. Hey, they not like us. Y'all heard what the brother said. I can't think of his name, now the rapper. But hey, they not like us. We got to change our black culture. We got to stop allowing folk to try to discredit our leadership. I don't care whether you like me or not. If I'm doing something trying to help the community, and you know folk lying on me, and you don't say nothing, here you just as worse as they are. You're worse, because you ain't saying anything. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sit back and let you run down my leadership. And it don't have to be just black, white, or whoever. But anyway, also on the local level, you have Santa Claus Robinson, the mayor again, got all these folk connected to him, folk living in his house, in his brother's house, his mama house, and give y'all a few crumbs, and y'all let him say anything he wants to about Congressman Don Davis. And the thing is, he running down Don Davis, who's the Democrat, and he got opposition. I say opposition right now because the filing period ain't till December, but he got two, possible three Republicans that he got to get passed before he get it done. So while he out here trying to tear Don down, he need to be trying to figure out which one of them gonna be the most Trumpist. He gonna have to Trump out. You gotta get his Trump cards out to beat those 2 to 3 people that, and it might be more when the filing period starts in December. So don't know how many it's gonna be. So y'all better tell y'all brother that, hey, you know, Christmas coming, in about 2 months. Was this October, November, December? My birthday, I would know that. But it's about time for him to Santa Claus y'all again. Y'all better recognize and understand what's going on out here. Reuben talked about these folks got money. They ain't gonna give y'all no money. They might give you some crumbs, but y'all right here promoting their mess. Okay? See, that's why we in the shape we in, because we had to fight on the inside and we got to fight on the outside because of safe Negroes playing both sides. And see, this thing about I don't believe he's gonna run for Congress. I don't even believe he's gonna run again for mayor because he catching some slack right now. I see stuff over on Rocky Mount Concerned Citizen before they blocked me, saying he didn't live in Rocky Mount. When the white folks start talking about him, he didn't live in Rocky Mount. He lived in Rocky Mount in a while and all that kind of stuff. Ain't that funny? But they talked about Andre Knight didn't live in Rocky Mount and all this kind of stuff. Ain't it funny now? I gotta get this. What tickled me is that then they're talking about him. So see, it don't matter when they get sick of you, they get sick of you. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh yeah, early voting started October the 16th. Run through the Saturday before the election on November the 4th. So go out and vote. And these municipalities, if you live in a city, you can't vote if you live in the county. So if you live in the city, Tarboro, Pine Top, Princeville, Rocky Mount runoff election, Whitakers, and places like that, you need to go out and vote. Again, on the national level, you see where they are trying to redistrict Don Davis out of the 1st Congressional District. Trump told Richard Burr here in North Carolina if he redraw the district and draw him out of District 1, 1st Congressional District, that he would support him. But again, like Reuben said, it ain't like it used to be. And then, like I told somebody, the counties that they added, those used to be in the 1st Congressional District at one time. Only thing is, he might, when they draw him out, that means they draw him out where he live at. Greene County would not be in the 1st Congressional District, but you don't have to live in the county, in the 1st Congressional District to be able to run for a congressional seat. So it can still be winnable, whether he moved into the 1st Congressional District or he stayed where he is. But anyway, we'll get to that part when we get there, because the filing period begins in December, and I guess they'll be voting on the redistricting soon. The civic group that I'm in consists of 23 counties. We sent a letter to the General Assembly about we don't like the maps, and I got a post. Somebody sent me some talking points where you need to go online and make comments about the redistricting. But I keep telling folks, all that is good. We gotta do that and other. We gotta get black folk out to vote. Not just because you vote, but we gotta do something to get other black folk out to vote. Because if we vote, we win. We gotta break this black culture. We gotta We got to piss folk off to get them to go out and vote. And we ain't got to do it. We just got to give them the information because Reuben told you, Thanksgiving, you might not have no food stamps and all that kind of stuff. So what more will it take to piss you off when they got the money, like Reuben said, and don't want to give it to you, when Rocky Mount don't have the money and y'all want them to give you something? It's just a bad time right now, so we got to deal with that. But I think I've been on long enough. Covered a little bit here and there, and main thing had Councilman Reuben Blackwell on to give us a perspective of where he stood. Like I said, we didn't need to rehash all that been said about what's going on with the financial issues. We just need to sit back and wait on the full report that come out. See where the money at, where the money ain't at, and how they gonna move forward. And I get so sick and tired of folks talking about this 30 million, saying 30 million in debt and all that kind of stuff when they're just trying to figure out how they can save 30 million, how they can save 30 million in the next 10 months. So like he told you, they still finding stuff. They don't know what's out there. So just let the process play out. Wait on the full report, because it's coming. So just wait on it. And stop just getting on the bandwagon with folk that don't care nothing about you. They just want to keep stuff stirred up in our community amongst us. When we pull together, when we decide to pull together and let them know we'll be a force to be reckoned with, you'll see a change. But as long as y'all keep being friends with these folk on social media, allowing them on your job and wherever you see them at to discredit our leadership, and y'all say nothing, but when I find out about that, don't talk to me. That's right, don't talk to me. Because I ain't got time for that foolishness. And I ain't mad with nobody. But you just ain't going to discredit black leadership when I know you're lying. We ain't got to agree on everything, and we ain't. But it's about 11 o'clock. It came on around 9:30. So I'm going to shut it down. Maybe back tomorrow. I don't know. But I know I'll be back soon. And I plan on attending the debate on Tuesday. I didn't attend the other ones because the candidate forums, because they left off Ward 6 and Ward 7 candidates during the last candidate forums in Rocky Mountain, and I refused to attend because those folk were left out, not heard. That was Ward 6, I believe, was Shanice Cotton and Tom Harris, and Ward 7, I might have them vice versa. What's his name? Jay Kelly and Thelma Bullock. I would love to have seen the outcome if they had been heard. Where those races had changed. Would have been a difference. But anyway, y'all, I am going to shut it down. Get ready for church tomorrow and finish up some videotaping and stuff here. Like I said, I went to Plymouth 2 nights this week, recording the candidates forums down there, all in Plymouth, North Carolina. I'm not limited to Edgecombe County. I get around. So, all right, y'all have a good night. This has been Late Night Live, the DCN Smoke.